The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Time with Blind United. If you don't know by now, my name is Ed, and I'm joined this morning with Brittany. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning, Ed.
And then we got the man of the hour, Mr. Zavala, in here with us today.
Hey, how you doing? How the cannolis?
Good morning, George.
Good morning,
Miss Britt. Miss Britt, you sound like, come on, go wake up. Come on, Miss Britt. You gotta, come on. Have that voice. Anyways, how's everyone doing this morning?
Good.
How's the weather over there
it's hot.
Is it?
It's
Probably not as hot as it is in El Paso, but it's hot.
You know, it's, thank gosh, well, I shouldn't say thank gosh, but the hurricane that hit over here in Texas, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it is bad, but compared to a category 4 or 5, it was a category 1, and I think it's going up into Arkansas now. So it's
Yeah, but it did its damage. I mean, it's plus y'all and down there in Texas with that power grid issues.
No comment on that one.
So, but I mean, I can't imagine, you guys got what, 110, 115?
Yeah, and the thing is, people got to remember with 100, like in Dallas, it's 110 with 98% humidity. So, but
that makes it like 120, 125.
Yeah, and with what Mr. Davis is referring to, people that don't know, here in Texas, a power grid, we're not a part of that here in El Paso because we're part of New Mexico's power grid, but how can I put this? Some third world countries have a better power grid than we do in Texas. So that tells you a lot.
That's crazy.
You know what's amazing to me is, what was it, just last year when, or the year before, last winter, we just came out of winter. So last winter, not this winter, y'all had the issue with old boy running off to Cancun.
Yeah, and and this is where people don't realize that the impacts of, power grid, whatever, right? But when it comes to individuals with disabilities, especially those who need oxygen or need some type of motorized gadget to have quality of life, and like a friend of mine, she's totally blind, so she can't go to the store, she can't jump in the car. She was stuck in their apartment for 5 days. 5 days. Thankfully, her neighbors would go and check on her. She was an elderly woman, but still, because she was telling me, well, normally, George, I would just jump in the Uber or, but we had no electricity.
Right.
Her phone died. Charging her phone, she couldn't even charge her phone, so it was really bad.
Well, and that just adds to, again, the disgrace of what I'm talking about. Your congressional rep, he running off to Cancun.
I thought he went for vacations.
That is his story. He can tell it how he wants. He said he went down there to drop off his kids and he was coming right back, but he had luggage with him.
Is it the same? Are you talking about politicians lying? No, never.
So now the thing to me is on this one, it's in the summertime and it's the heat, right?
Yeah,
Where's your governor?
exactly. So are you saying that Clinton lied when he said he did not have sex with her?
Well, it depends on what you want the definition of sex.
So the young folks are like, "Who's Clinton?" Yeah, but that should be one of our president folks, just to let you know. But
Well, I mean, they know who Hillary is. Hillary's husband. That's all.
but going back to what you're saying, Ms. Britt, or Mr. Davis, about the electrical grid, is that people, just the smallest little things or the biggest little things, I guess, impact us in different ways, right? For example, like myself, let's say power out goes out here, I have options because of my wife and whatnot. But if you're by yourself, you live in an apartment by yourself, you're stuck, or a home.
Right. And again, in the summer, if it happens in the wintertime, you ain't got no heat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they had people burning their furniture and stuff trying to stay warm.
There was a story in well, like 2-3 years ago, Mr. Davis and Miss Britt, in Puerto Rico. They had a flood. They had a typhoon, I guess they call them, or a cyclone, and people that were in nursing homes, they literally died because they couldn't evacuate with the others. And some people, unfortunately, when they evacuate, they leave everything behind, or anyone behind. And I heard stories of elderly people in nursing homes passing away because everybody left. They couldn't get out of their bed.
That's awful.
Exactly.
And that when
Exactly.
the little orange guy went down there and started throwing them paper towels.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah. You mean Cheetos?
Whatever. He's still orange. I mean, I'm sorry I'm being political about this, but I'm just pointing out all of these politicians. You know what I'm saying? They not with. You got one leaving when this crisis happened. The other one, he ain't coming back when this crisis happened. And you had the other dude, he run down there. The hell with him here. How about some paper towels? Wipe off your tears. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's the overall experience right now, Mr. Davis, because, just to touch on this a little bit, and this kind of correlates with what we're talking about with people with disabilities, is politicians. They'll say they'll do this, they'll do that, but when it comes time to it, it's really about the money, unfortunately. It really
more
is.
So on one side than the other. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just going to say more on one side than the other.
Yes. And what I mean by that is, just give you an example. Like here in Texas, you have to wear your seatbelt, but you can ride your bike without a helmet. So.
Oh, well, California, you got to do both.
I'm sorry?
California, you got to wear a seatbelt in the car, and if you're on a bicycle, you got to wear a helmet.
Yep, and here we don't. And that's the thing. So you're telling me if I don't wear my seatbelt, but yet I can still ride a bike without a helmet,
So now when you say bike, you talking about motorcycle or bicycle?
Motorcycle. I'm sorry, motorcycle.
Okay, well
it'd be kind of weird riding a bike with a helmet, Mr. Davis.
No, it ain't. Over here, we got to wear one.
No, if you're in a regular bike?
A regular bike.
Really?
Yeah, it better not be a child.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's crazy over here. It's to the point to where they pretty much give you a helmet when you buy a bicycle.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of places, they give you the helmet as a, just a little bonus when you buy the bicycle. But, the higher end stores, no, you got to buy the helmet and the bike.
See, they can't give me a helmet, Mr. Davis, because that goes into my old days of playing football. I'll be yelling, 242, 242, Ringo, Ringo. So anyways.
It's your story. So, but anyway, we got one interest group for today. We got the arts and crafts, knitting, crocheting, and all that kind of stuff going on today, jewelry making. They'll be doing their thing tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're into crafting and stuff like that and you want to come check out what they got going on, please do. Do
you like that kind of stuff, Miss Britt? I'm not just saying because you're a woman, but do you like that kind of stuff?
No, I am not artsy fartsy at all. I'm not. It's not my thing. But
I'm fartsy. That's what my wife says. But anyways, that one time my grandma
She
what do they
said you
call it?
were Farsi too.
No, that what do they call it, Britain? It's a blanket. It's like in the Mexican culture custom. It's a blanket. Anyways, it's made out
I
of
know what you're
yarn.
talking about, but I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, me neither. But my grandma showed me how to yarn or put together a yarn blanket. I don't know how you say it. Sewing or crocheting or it's good therapy actually. It really is.
Okay, so you really enjoyed that, right?
I did just kill time. You're not you're concentrated on
Okay.
what you're doing, and it really it's real therapeutic.
So is that what you're giving out for Christmas this year?
Yes,
So
actually
you
I am, and
just
I'm putting my picture on it. So
okay. Well, just put the Blind United logo on mine.
even though we're blind, but we can't see it, but that still don't matter. I'll
Why
put
is
bump
that?
dumps on it.
Okay. When we was at Valley Street, they had the one with what was it, the Virgin Mary on it, Britt?
Oh really?
Yeah, they sure did.
Okay, but it was a poncho.
Oh, I know him.
So anyway, Britt, you want to give us a update on how the ladies' night went last night?
It was great. I 10 out of 10 recommend. Aletha is great, and I don't know where you found her at, but not only does she want to talk about makeup, but she wants to talk about skincare and what you should use on your face, how you should take care of your face, how you should use moisturizer, sunscreen. She's very much into affirmations and all of us telling each other that we're beautiful, telling looking in the mirror saying that you're beautiful, because sometimes when you're blind you can experience a little bit of self-esteem issues. So I mean, she's not only does she want people to feel beautiful on the outside, but she wants people to feel beautiful on the inside. So I can't wait to continue with this class. And I was really surprised with the turnout. A lot of ladies came, so hopefully more ladies come next time we have this group. And yeah, that group was great. And I also want to thank everybody for coming to the women's support group. That was cool too.
Okay, so that worked out fine for y'all. Y'all had a interesting conversation. Were able to do a little bonding or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, hey, ladies' night. First Tuesday of every month. We're gonna see. I'm sorry, not first Tuesday. Second Tuesday of every month. That'll be starting at 5 o'clock. So I know you need to talk to Monica because she was wanting to know what y'all want to do for the.
Miss Britt, can I ask you a question? And I'm sorry if I'm asking you to repeat yourself because my phone was talking or my computer was
Okay, no
talking.
problem.
Um, do you see? Is there? Well, how can I put this? Is there a huge difference when it comes to how women are treated overall, with or without disabilities in society?
I think so. I mean, I last night that's kind of what we talked about, just that for instance with women it's kind of like, oh well, you don't wear makeup, that's okay because you're blind, you don't know how to do it, you can't figure out how to do it. Or oh, if it's messed up, it's okay because you're blind. I mean, in regards to that, I mean, I think that women aren't respected when they're blind. I mean, people, for instance, and this is just an example, and it's probably not a good example, and I'm kind of going everywhere, but if we're out in public, somebody's gonna grab me before they grab Ed and try to move him. Like I would be hard to move, but Ed is harder to move. Or like, if Ed says no, I don't need help, people are more respectful of that, saying, rather than me, they just insist because I'm a woman, if that makes any sense.
True. You're right. You're right, and that's a good point to make because even in my experience, when I've been around other people the women that are blind, you're right. They'll focus on why. We're both the same, right? But I guess they see that the woman needs more help. Well, actually, sometimes the men need more help. Trust me, you know. But just to let you know, Mr. David and Miss Britt, we are sharing this on the Blind Interest Group Facebook page or Facebook group. So I'm just to let you know that we are on
Okay.
the Blind United
Well,
Interest Group.
while you folks are tuning in over there, Facebook is giving us issues, so it's rare that we're getting into the Blind United Interest Group thing right now. So if you want to continue watching me, you got. If you only have Facebook, go to my page. Ed Davis. That's my page. But on the flip side of that, you can run on over to YouTube. No problems over there. We're trying to build that up over there as well. So, or if you don't do YouTube, we got X, formerly known as Twitter, at Blind United 22. So,
But
either
I
one of
think
those.
X isn't very accessible. I mean, I believe Elon got rid of his accessibility team. But I don't know. Word on the street is that's what had happened over there.
Well, X or Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are combining in one company, right, folks? Did you know that?
You twit face.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, George and Mr. Davis. Do you think it's more difficult to be a blind man or a blind woman or both?
I guess let me can I respond to him, Mr. Davis? For
Go
our
for it.
in our culture, what I mean, our culture, the Hispanic culture is machismo, which I'm the man. Whatever I say goes. So when you have a disability, no matter what kind it is, you don't have the same stature. I just want to say, like myself, even though they might see me and Mr. Davis walking down the street, all they see is two blind men. So in some ways, that puts us in a different category, if that makes sense. For example, they'll come talk to us like if we're little kids, like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "Why? Why is that?" Now, for women, that's, and I don't know if this is the wrong way to see this, Miss Britt, so you might correct me, but I think women are more of a disadvantage. And what I mean by that is when it comes to like going to a party or something where a guy that's sighted, because, oh, that's my target, because she's a woman, she can't see. And that's one thing I've always been afraid of.
Especially if he's an ugly guy.
But I've always been afraid of that. Like when I was younger, we used to hang around with some friends that were blind, and we always told ourselves, you know what, don't leave our friend by herself, no matter what, because you never know, right? So, but a guy, it could be the same thing for a guy, but I just think when it comes to a culture, yes, we seem at we're looked at as inferior, even though I don't know why, or lazy, right? They'll say, oh, you're lazy, you just want to stay home and receive Social Security, not knowing that when we try to look for a job, it's hard, right? Because of those perceptions.
Well, that's
You know,
that's definitely a stigmatism that a lot of people believe without realizing the truth behind it. They don't realize we're 70% unemployed.
exactly.
So and
And
it's
what I
not
mean by
by
lazy,
choice.
not by choice, yeah, exactly. Because I know many people that want to work. Full employ. What I mean by work is full. What do they call it?
Full time employment,
No, fully gained employed or something like that. Find
fully
it
gainfully employed.
gainfully
Gainfully
employed.
employed, yeah.
Because what I mean by that is you have all these ability one programs or companies that I feel, in my personal opinion, folks, like the disclaimer said at the beginning of the show, I think they take advantage of people with disability. They exploit them. And like, there's a local company here in El Paso. I know a gentleman that's been there almost 15 years, and he still gets paid $7.50 an hour. But he has to stay there because they took away his other benefits, his Social Security. I mean, his food stamps and all that stuff. So he's stuck. And he has a family, and he's afraid to leave that source of income. But 15 years, 15 years, that's 750.
Right, right,
You
right.
know,
Well, I
and
mean,
if
and to go with what you're saying, I think it was actually just yesterday. I got a text and somebody, recruiter, right, and was asking me if I was interested in a remote position, flexible hours or whatever. And I said, okay, well, myself personally, I'm retired, but if you're interested in hiring, folks from the blind, visually impaired community, I would love the info. They didn't get back at me, right?
of course not, of course not.
Because what was I going to do? Take that information and bring it right to my people,
And
uh,
even when I was at the Borderplex, and we had what they called navigators,
border
and they were
plant. Y'all got a plant down on the border?
No, the BorderFlex is
Oh,
workforce solution.
Borderplex.
BorderPlex.
Borderplex. Okay.
BorderFlex.
I thought
And
you said a plant. I was gonna say, well, what the hell y'all making at that plant?
no comment on that one, right? But in Juarez, just for, in that regards, Mr. Davis, in Juarez, there are many American plants. I forgot what they call them in Spanish. There's a term for that. But in Juarez, there's big companies out there.
Yeah,
Because of course,
General Motors is down there. Well, not General Motors. Ford is down there. There's quite a few companies down there.
yeah, because they pay, for example, someone working 40 hours a week, 40 hours a week, folks, 40, they make an average of $60 a month. I mean, $60 a week.
Yeah,
And
but that's
that's,
really good money for their country.
yes, yes, it is. So, but going back to what we were saying about employment, is that, and I'm glad we're talking about this real quick. So I'm sharing this to the Blind United and my Facebook pages. We're not lazy, folks. Many of us want to work. Now, yes, there's a certain component that want to stay home and eat their pom pom while they're watching TV. That's great. But a high majority of us do want to work, and I think Mr. Davis mentioned this. 70%, if not higher, of people that are blind are
Well, according
unemployed.
to the U.S. Census, anyway, we
Now,
are
this is
70% un or underemployed.
employed. Exactly. And then when I say blind folks, now that doesn't include other disabilities because we're at a higher disadvantage because, for example, let's say someone in the wheelchair goes into employment and they can fix the area, the desk, they can make it adjustable. But with us, if we go to a certain place, and I've had experience on the federal level with Department of Labor and the state level, the Texas Attorney General, their applications or portals are not accessible. Everything else, they have 3.5 feet window the doors, the restrooms are accessible. Yeah, but the computer component it doesn't work for us, and I think that's
Yeah,
where we're at a bigger disadvantage.
we were actually just talking about that the other night because our follower up in the Bay Area up there, the one that came down here and went to apply for Homeland Security. I mean, she's partial. You know what I'm saying? To the point where she doesn't even need a cane. But anyway, she got a couple different offers, and anyway, she got one that that she accepted, right? But trying to put in all the information in the portal, she literally had to get help from her boyfriend to do that.
Yep.
It
Yep.
just again, and she works for the government. I mean, even her job and so well, for another government agency. Again, she needs of course, assistive technology, but they want to give her a stripped down version.
Yes.
They don't want to give her a full version. For whatever reason, folks got it. These employers got it in their head that somehow we're going to magically be able to, hack into their system because we got this screen reader thing that they don't know nothing about and don't care about, don't want to investigate and learn about, you know. But
Yeah.
bottom line, for those that don't know, screen reader just gives us access to the computer. It don't give us access to nothing else. We can't go anywhere that you can't go without the proper
Hence
password.
the name screen reader.
Yeah, screen reader. So I
It's like
have
an
to ask.
overlay, really. It's like an overlay program, and it's funny you mentioned about the Department of the federal government, Mr. Davis. When I was at the Department of Labor, I was the first blind employee within that department, and so when I received JAWS from TWC, and they handed it over to my unit supervisor, so I'm like, cool, I'm gonna be set. So I walked into her office. I go, ma'am, when can IT come and install this? She goes, oh no, George, we have to. This is in Dallas. She goes, we have to ship it out to Washington. I'm like, excuse me? She said, yeah, they have to scan it and then bring it back. And I'm like, what? And so she was, yeah. So I go, what do I do? Well, just stay in your office. So for a whole week, folks, I just sat in my office, you know?
It's crazy. I mean, again, this, and you would think that they would already know this stuff. Come on. I mean,
Exactly.
I mean, again, we having this conversation. I don't know why. Every time you come in here, it turns into a podcast, and we just talk about all kind of important stuff. But at the same time, ADA. I mean, they're supposed to be setting the guidelines and regulations for all of this stuff, but yet they don't even know anything about it.
And what's funny that you said, Mr. Davis, is the federal government.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, they don't even, when it comes to the ADA, you're like, wow, that's, I can understand a city maybe or a state, but federal government? I mean, and you even have, now this is what's funny about it, or I guess ironic. Each department of the government, let's say Department of Labor or Treasury or whatever, they have a civil rights unit within that department. I'm like, okay, you have civil rights, but you don't have it, when it comes to ADA compliance. It's just amazing,
But not only that, even that within each department, I mean, ain't that like what do you call it, internal affairs,
Yes,
policing your own people? No, all of that stuff should be outside. It should not be, interdepartmental. It should be, I mean, the civil rights to whatever that should be its own thing.
exactly.
I mean, I was just seeing somewhere. Who was it? Somebody. I was watching some on YouTube, but bottom line, they trying to do away with OSHA.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully people know what OSHA is.
OSHA
OSHA is.
is,
Go
what
ahead,
is it?
Judge.
Is it the Office of Safety and Health Administration?
Occupational.
Occupational. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Right. So I mean, they're the ones that to make sure that where you're working at the workplace is safe. You're not doing too much bending over, picking up too much weight. They set the guidelines and the regulations for your jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Can I mention something about OSHA? So one time here in El Paso, when I was on the board for a nonprofit, another nonprofit that I was on, and so they had a grant where they would bring in employers and they would talk about intellectual disabilities, people, those that demographic. So they gave me a sheet of over 750 employers, sorry, and I would call each one and invite them to a workshop. And I called a restaurant. It's a big restaurant. I'm not gonna say the name. So I called the gentleman. I talked to the manager. And I'm like, sir, my name is this, da, 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 and we want to invite you to a workshop regarding people with intellectual disabilities. And he says, oh no, we can't hire them because OSHA won't let us. I'm like, what the hell did you say? OSHA? And who's them? Right? But since I was part
Right.
of a board, I really couldn't speak my mind like I do now. So I'm like, okay, sir. But in my head, I'm like, what do you mean by them and OSHA? OSHA has nothing to do with that. But anyways, it's just the ignorance.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that they wouldn't, George. I mean, again, we're having conversation, right? So I'm not going to say that they should not hire them. I'm not going to say they could do all jobs.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
And what he means, I know what you mean, Mr. J, and he's correct. I mean, we have to be realistic, right? If we want to be 100, right? People with intellectual disability is more difficult because they don't, people with disability, those diagnoses, they don't translate what we say. For example, I had a cousin, rest her soul, and she had an intellectual disability. And then when I was in the BT program, she would work for me, right, and the weekends. So I told her, you know what, do me a favor. We had a salad bar. I go, do me a favor, put the Jello with a little bit of whipped cream, and I go put it over there in the salad bar. Okay, so she did it. So my mom looks at it and she starts laughing. She goes, Mijo, come over here, look at this. This is one I can still see. And I went over there and she did exactly what I told her. She put the Jello with the whipped cream on top of the ice. She didn't, she didn't put it on the cup. So it
Right,
wasn't
right.
her fault. It's just the way that she
She interpreted what you said.
and then she interpreted correctly. She did exactly what I said. My mom looked at me. She goes, "You can't get mad because she did exactly what you said."
You got to
Right?
be specific. I mean, the same thing, like you say, intellectual disability, like, let's say dyslexia. You can't have somebody, putting together recipes, when if they had dyslexia because they're not reading the recipe properly, they're not going to be able to read the ingredients properly. You
Is that the one
understand?
the numbers are correct? You mess up the numbers.
Well, it could be numbers or letters.
I have a problem with that number. Sometimes I'm good, and sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't. I guess I'm getting old, but I don't know. Just sometimes you know, you have those
George, it's
moments.
a visual thing.
You know what's funny, Mr. Davis? When I was going to school and I took algebra in college, you could see it, right? The fact, the equation, minus and third
Okay.
power. So when I went blind or lost my vision more, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to school. So I went back to UTEP and I had to take an entry exam. Lord have mercy, the equation didn't make sense no more, even though because I couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Right,
wow,
right,
it
right.
didn't click. It didn't click. You know.
I
So
mean, I hear you. But now, on that note, and the reason I say it's a visual thing, I mean, yeah, it's something going on in with their brain, with something happening between what they see and it being, translated to their brain, right? But uh, 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 I know a girl that lives up in the Bay Area. I'm sorry, girl, lady that lives up in the Bay Area, San Francisco area. She actually is totally blind. She does braille. She does a lot of braille challenges and all that stuff. So she's really, really, really good with it, right? But she's a special ed instructor, and she's actually teaching kids with dyslexia braille.
oh wow,
You
wow,
know,
wow, wow,
so
that's pretty neat.
and they're improving their grade levels. Their scores just by using braille rather than reading.
Miss Britt, you're our uh, braille expert. So just so people know, there's different types of brailles, right? Or different
Yeah, there's
versions,
different
or
types of braille. Yeah.
is it? Let me ask a stupid question. This is my ignorance. So if let's say Mexico and U.S. is it braille different?
Well, English braille and Spanish braille are different. Like, for example, Spanish braille is just the alphabet, and English braille is contracted. And then, like in Spanish braille, they have like how they have the N, like the N with the little line over it, or
Yes.
like those little uh
Accents.
accents, or like the question mark at the beginning of a sentence. Those are different dot combinations in braille.
Okay. Because there's a European style too, right? Or no?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay.
That's the UEB, right, Britt?
Yeah, all the English speaking countries
Yeah.
have the same braille code now. They didn't used to, I believe, but now it's all the same.
And you might contrast. Does that mean that the dots are not as much, or
Contractions, George, not
oh,
contract.
contraction? My bad. I'm sorry.
Contractions, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not to be confused with contractions ladies have
I'm
given
about
birth.
to say I'm sorry. I'm confused. I'm like the dots come in and dots come out. The dots come in. Sorry about that.
No, what it is, George, is they take and shorten a word. So, they'll take a word that might be like a 10, 12 letter word, and they'll shrink it down to maybe 3 letters, 3, 4 letters most.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, what, like the Bible, the Holy Bible is actually what, 24 volumes or something
Yeah,
like
it's a
that?
lot of volume. So to condense it, they kind of make things like C is can, things like that. K is
So it would be
common.
like if somebody
So
puts LOL
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or FMLL or whatever they want to
Right,
put.
it's kind of like that, in essence,
Okay.
so, but anyway, we got to get these commercials out the way, and then we can either get into some articles or have some more
Well, I
conversation,
have a comment
whatever.
after that. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hit this one, and then as soon as I get through with both of them, we'll see which direction we want to go.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Blind United.
Feeling lucky? Join Blind United for a thrilling day at Viejas Casino and Resort. Slaw Machine. Mark your calendars for Friday, August 9th. We're rolling out from 2 locations, Montclair and Buena Park at 9 a.m. sharp, so don't be late. For just $21, you can enjoy a ride filled with fun, refreshments, and the chance to win big. Remember, space is limited, and the deadline for your payment is July 20th. All bookings are non-refundable after July 20th. Bring your poker face and your ID and get ready for a day of excitement and entertainment. No worries about the drive. We've got you covered. You can just relax there and back. Book your spot now. Contact Cheryl at 909-821-9589, see Thurston74@gmail.com, or Pedro at 323-631-2122, P. Aguilera at blindunited.org. Let's hit the jackpot together. You can Zelle your payments to Blind United Incorporated by using the email blindunited2022@gmail.com.
Just a little clarification before George jumps in here. You hear that we have 2 buses, of course. You hear 2 people's names there. So if you're interested in bus 1 that is leaving out of Montclair, which basically is right on the border of LA and San Bernardino counties, then you would get at Cheryl. If you want to get on the bus that's in Buena Park, which is right on the border of South LA and LA County anyway, and Orange County, okay, right around the corner from Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, that neighborhood over there. So, but if you want to get on that bus over there, then that's who you reach out to, Pedro. Or if you're a Spanish-speaking individual, hopefully you understand what I'm saying right now. Call Pedro; he'll definitely understand what you're saying. So, and his is bus 2. So. And if you just want to, sign up and send your money in, just indicate in your Zelle payment in the memo line, casino trip, bus 1 or bus 2. And then that way we'll know which one you want to get on. And we got about 10 days left, y'all. And the seats are going pretty good. So if you would want to go with us, I advise you to get in as soon as possible and book your seat so that you don't be left standing at McDonald's by yourself. So I'm done, George. What you want to do, buddy?
Wait, before George says anything, Pedro commented, he said, "Good morning, gentlemen." And he also made a comment about George's work experience, saying if he would have been sitting in his office for a week, he would have been watching YouTube.
Well, you know what? Am I still alive? I'm messing in the background. I'm sorry.
No, you're here.
Okay. Somebody actually got fired for that, Miss Britt. They're listening to Pandora on their work computer, and they got fired for that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's stupid. But I want to say something real quick, and this is kind of goes to what we're saying about the contrast or I'm going to say that word again.
Contractions.
Contractions. There you go. It's not the same as compensated, right? Or when you can't poop. What is it called? Anyway.
Constipated.
Yeah, the same thing, isn't it?
No.
Okay. Talking about when it comes to communications, when I said LOL and FMLL.
George, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you for a minute. I know you are a very intelligent person, but, you really make yourself sound really bad that you do that.
Well, it's true, because there's certain words that if you don't know what you're saying, like I don't, it happens. I do that a lot. Trust me.
Okay, but I just know you're a very intelligent guy. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression of you.
I'm not intelligent. Trust me, I'm not. Make it seem like it. Only for you, folks. Only for you. Just like a politician. But anyways, hey, that's a good way to put it.
Not a good example. I wouldn't want to compare myself to a politician.
Exactly. I'm like, never mind. But talking about communications is that, and I'm just being funny, folks. Just, make it funny. So, I know the difference, I think. Anyways, talking about communication is that the lack of communication nowadays, because when the youngins, and I want to say, there's like Generation X, right, Miss Britt, or Generation
The millennials.
Yeah, and now there's a generation G or something like that. There's a new one
I
I
don't
heard.
know.
But
Because
anyways,
it's Gen Z, what is it? The millennials, then Gen Z, then Gen Alpha, I think.
I don't know what it is,
I
but
don't know.
what that thing
I think I'm supposed to be a baby boomer.
yes, I think that's yes, sir.
Yeah, you are a
Uh,
boomer. Okay, boomer.
and the reason I'm saying that is because of the difference how what can I
I'm not
say?
trying to cut you out, but I'm just jumping in there. Just a thought popped in my head. So because I'm a baby boomer, does that mean that folks back in my day were really getting busy?
Yes, sir. Coming back from the war. That's what I heard.
Okay,
Coming back
that's
from
where
World
they.
War II.
I never understood what the term came from, but
Yeah, that's what I heard. That because I asked the same question, they say that because a lot of the soldiers were coming back from war, and they started having babies, or start having marital activities, and yep.
you say sex, George. Well, they were having sex,
But there's this kids on listening.
but there's sex. It said it's sex education in school.
True. But talking about that, Miss Brie, I like the commercial. Down, bow, bow, when you do that commercial. I just gotta say that, folks. I'm sorry. But anyways, t- talking about communications is that the level how it's digressed from when I was younger and now is because even when it comes to just texting, right? For example, LOL, and I understand that, it's not to type out the whole word, but when it comes to the work environment, and I'll give you an example. When I was with the Attorney General, they had they opened a new division or a new I guess a new division called chat. So they will have a component at the bottom of the website where you click on it and you could chat with a child support officer and ask questions about your case. And during the training, well, first they wanted me to check out the portal to see if it was accessible, and it was. But during the training, people are, how can I say this, employees were texting when they're responding to the chat. They were putting those LOLs and FMLO and emojis. And I'm like, wow, they don't know to have a common sense and not to put that in the workplace environment, right? For example, if I respond to someone, I'm going to say, oh, ma'am, sir, whatever, and I'll put LOL at the end of the conversation.
And
So,
that language actually developed from early mobile phones when you didn't have a keyboard.
true.
You didn't have I should say a full keyboard. You only had a numerical keyboard, like a phone keyboard, right?
Yep.
And so you had to, for A, you hit two once, for B, you'd hit two twice. So it made sense that, you would want to shorten up the words and create these, per se, newer contractions, right? But now everybody's phone got a keyboard. Come on now.
Mr. Davis, the young folks are like, what are you talking about? Trust me, folks. Back in the early 2000s, I want to say maybe, right, Mr. Davis? Yeah, the little
What
flip
hell?
phones. And trust me, you want to put hi or hello, you put it H E L O. I mean, it was so yeah. That makes sense, Mr. Davis. LOL and all that.
Even
FMAO.
today, you ain't even got to type it. You can dictate it,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know.
But the level of communication, going back to what I'm saying, the workplace, it's just even when you go to a store nowadays, the kids, and I'll say kids, it's like they're like when they're in the service desk, it's like if you're bothering them. And then in my head, I'm like, wow, what happened? I remember back when I was at Kmart, we emphasized customer service. Now that's not everyone, but it happens a lot where we go like Walmart and Best Buy. Sometimes we will ask like, where's something? They'll just point. Oh, it's over there in the wall. I'm like, really? What happened with just taking us and ma'am, sir, this is where it's at. I don't know. I just think with the integration of the cell phone now I think that level of customer service is going to just drop even more, in my opinion. It's just my opinion.
I agree. I agree. I have a funny story. I think also they're not training folks properly in today's world. I mean, as an example, yesterday I called my healthcare, and so I get the customer service, and I'm talking to her, and I tell her what I want. She says, "Okay, well, let me see if I can get you to that department." And then she comes back. She says, "Okay, well, what is it that you want to do?" I says, "Okay, well, I'm trying to, I'm just to say it. I was trying to get to the referral department, so I can get them to help me set up my uh, appointment, right?" She said, "Oh, well, I can do that for you." After, so anyway, we went back and forth. She come back. She said, "Oh, now I got to, after 30 minutes, after 30 minutes being on the phone with this woman, she realized because of my Medi that she had to send me to another department
Oh, Lord have mercy.
after 30 minutes.
Wow.
Come on now. You need to train these people. First you want to send me to the referral department. Then you want to come back and tell me, well, you can handle it. Then you come back and tell me, oh, well, I can't handle it. I need to send you to this other department.
And that's interesting. I think it just goes into play, Mr. Davis, and then I'll touch on this real quick. With the introduction of AI, especially in the school environment, I think that takes away the ability for the student to learn. Okay, what I mean by that, folks, is Mr. Davis probably knows what I'm talking about. Back in the day, if you ask me a question about a capital or something or somewhere, I have my little books I had to go through, encyclopedias, and look to see where the answer. Now they ask it, the series or whoever. And the thing is that I think that takes that component out of the kid's hands, of thinking, right?
Well, let's go here. Again, I'm the oldest person on the stream, probably. Well, at least in here. Uh,
Probably on Facebook.
do you guys know what a Peachy book was? Peachy folder?
No.
Do you know, Brett, what a Peachy was?
Like the folders that you keep your schoolwork in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so in my day, when you open it up on the inside cover, the little pocket where you would slide your papers, it had a multiplication table. And
really?
We would get rolled up for cheating if we had that on our desk while we were doing math.
Yep. Well, isn't it true, Mr. Davis, Miss Britt? I think you, Miss Britt, might be you're the youngest one. When you took the math test, because I went blind 18 years ago, 20 years ago. When you're in math class, could you use a calculator or not?
No.
Now you can, right? I understand.
I don't know. I mean, I know for like multiplication, division, that kind of stuff. I don't think I started using a calculator until I got into like algebra, geometry, that kind of stuff.
Hell, they wouldn't let me use a calculator when I was learning algebra, and I had been out of school a long time.
And talking about AI, Mr. Davis, and the reason I'm mentioning AI.
Well, before we go there, I'm gonna just throw this out there. If he wasn't so long-winded, I'd have played we got actually an article about AI grading papers.
Oh wow. Okay,
but
go ahead.
It's about 10 minutes long, so we only got about 10 minutes left.
Oh really? We went by us. I wonder why.
Like I said, it's just conversation, long wind.
I'm sorry. Every time I get on with you, I need to stop doing that. But this conversation that people need to hear, right?
I hear you. I'm not mad at you. I mean, you never know what kind of coffee you're gonna have in the morning when you join Blind United for coffee time.
Well, I've been in podcasting for over 10 years, so things just pop in my head and I want to talk about it. Important stuff, right? And the thing is, what I said about AI, it's just like going back to what I said. Kids could write resumes now. They could do reports. Yeah, granted, there's ways to find out if they did it. Okay, we had a comment, Mr. Davis. You might want to see the comment, which I just heard it right now.
Read it.
I can't. It went away. About calculators or something like that?
Did you say it, Brett?
Hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Let me see if I can read it.
Basically, the comment said that only certain students can use calculators during tests. It depends on their IEP.
Well, that's my cousin. She's a teacher, so I can't talk smack about teachers. So she'll beat me up. So Yeah, my
Well,
cousin Nancy.
and if you don't lose that macho attitude, you're gonna lose your wife too.
No. You know, have you ever done this, folks, who are listening or watching? If you have a family member that's a student, a teacher or educator, when you type, I put commas in my typing to her. I make sure I pronunciate or punctuate correctly. I don't know if anybody else does that, but when I'm texting her, I feel intimidated. I want to make sure I'm spelling right and punctuation right. But anyways, no, but
Even in dictation, I speak punctuation.
yeah, I do. You're right. You're right. But I just think it is true. And I'm not sure if I heard this correctly, that even cursive is not being used anymore. Or is that
No, well, I mean, we've had that conversation before. No, they don't do cursive anymore.
okay? Well, I'm saying that so hopefully my cousin will comment on that, because I just think that that's a lost
Art,
something that needs the lost art, exactly. And
skill. I mean, it's also a kind of way of, I mean, again, it was a form of identification because nobody, I mean, it's hard for people to actually copy your signature because it's unique to your writing style and all that.
yes, sir.
So
Did you ever do
printing
that?
and printing, anybody can print.
Sure. Did you ever do that exercise? My mom would let me. I would do a circle and a circle and a circle and a circle to improve your cursive. I don't know if you ever done that.
No, I used to do art where I would, like create a box or a triangle or whatever and just fill it in with more of the same, shape.
Okay.
But I would do that to create, I did it as kind of a little art project.
Now, before we leave, one thing I do want to mention about AI on the other side is
And
it does.
Nancy commented that is correct. A lot of students cannot read cursive, so
Oh, really? They cannot read cursive?
cannot read cursive. Reader, read it.
Wow. Really? That's pretty sad
Because they
itself.
don't teach it.
They don't teach it. Yeah, you're right.
Well, I guess,
Wow.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Nancy, if you're following along, sweetie, please. My understanding is they don't teach it anymore.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, she's been an educator for 15 years. She's been a teacher for a while.
I know when I was in school, elementary school, I mean, first, yes, we had the paper with the dotted line in the middle, so you knew where the middle
Yeah.
was, and
Yes, sir.
you
Yes,
practiced
sir.
your uppercase and lowercase and
Yep.
stuff like that, right? Just
Yep.
print.
Yep.
And then once you moved on to like, second, third grade or whatever it was, I'm not sure, but then they gave you your handwriting book. And it was basically the same thing. Now we're showing you how to make those same letters in what we're calling cursive, right?
Was that the Indian tablet?
No, I don't know about no Indian tablet.
Yeah, it was like a little. Well, they call it. It was like a paper tablet, but it was an Indian in front of it, and it was for like handwriting to show you how to do cursive and whatnot.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, and you like trace the letters.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't no trace or nothing. We just had to look at the book and then use that same dotted line paper. Again, for to make sure you understood that lowercase you stay below the middle, uppercase you go above the middle.
So now
That
they
makes
just write it in
sense.
print, I guess. Now, right?
I mean, but again, when you go to the bank or sign a paycheck, you just going to print your name.
Right? That's not.
You
You're
know,
right. You're right. Right. That's a good point.
you
That's a
know.
very good point. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Davis.
I mean, I'm
So,
sorry. I've been total now for since '08, and I can still sign my name.
yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
know.
Well, they say mine looks like chicken scratch, but yeah.
Well, mine's always looked like chicken scratch, so.
Right, doctor's signature.
But that's the point. That's the whole point behind it. You know what I'm saying? Your signature is unique to you. They can match your signature because you sign the same way all the time.
True. You're right. You're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
that's why you have these experts that, the signature experts that, authenticate, people's autographs.
Yes, sir. You're right. No, you're right.
They
And
look
then
at all the various characteristics that's unique to that person. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they authenticate it. Oh, okay. Well, no, that's a fake. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a real one.
but you know what's David? Now that you put it into that contrast, How do people sign now?
Context. You have a trouble with C's. That's what it is. Nancy, you need to work with your cousin over here.
Cousin has a C too in it. What context? Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Is you're right. How do kids sign now? If you don't teach
I don't know.
cursive now. Wow.
I really don't know. I can't see it.
For a fingerprint. I've seen something where you have to use your fingerprint nowadays.
Well,
I
stuff.
mean, I don't really think you sign stuff anymore. I mean, I don't sign stuff as much as I used to. I mean, I don't know.
Well, thank God I still get checks I need to sign.
And tomorrow I'll have Mr. Davis. If I join tomorrow I'll have a problem with the words with a D. So, anyways,
Okay, so Wednesday's your C day and Thursday's your D day.
Yeah, well, C's. Yeah, you're right. D and an E and an F, and anyways.
Okay.
And by the way, today is Hump Day, right, Miss Britt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Hump the ones you love.
There we go.
So.
Or Whataburger Wednesday, but no, you don't have Whataburger over there, so.
I think we have Whataburger now, Britt. Well, I think there's a couple of them out here.
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Ziggy, are there any Whataburgers in California?
I couldn't find one in California, but I found a few options. Whataburger, 282.6 miles away on North Sarivale Avenue. Whataburger, 286.6 miles away on West
I won't be eating.
Road. Whataburger,
200 miles.
Ziggy, I'm good. Thank you. There's over all of them 250 miles plus away. I guess you had to give me a Whataburger when I come to El Paso.
Right, yes, sir. That's a thing here in Texas, the Whataburgers. But real quick, what I was going to say before we run out of time with AI, and for those who are watching or listening, to put it in context, that the AI, when it comes to people with disabilities, especially us who are blind, it really makes a difference now. I've seen it a lot. Me and Mr. Davis, he would always tell me about the Picture Smart with JAWS, and I didn't understand what he meant. I mean, what is he talking about? So one day I had to go to a training and they demonstrated it. And I'm like, oh, I made a huge difference now, Mr. Davis. I'm glad you mentioned that to me because it kind of extracts what's in like a photo or even a graph, a PDF, stuff like that. Right. So, I mean,
Freedom is actually, I can't remember, I think if it was already passed, it's be in the archives, but Freedom Scientific just did a shopping with Picture Smart.
Yes, they did. You're right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can use Picture Smart, like when you go on Amazon or whatever website you might go on and, you want to get a better description of what the images are. Now, don't, for these company owners, please, this is not an excuse for you to not make your graphics accessible.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Okay, descriptive.
Alternative text.
Okay, we have to find other ways to be able to access your images when you should be making your images accessible for us, so we don't need to do any workarounds.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right. And you're the expert on that, Mr. Davis, because you that's what you used to do is look at websites and to take away from that, folks, is you have to understand that when we visit a website and we have to do all these little tricks and turn around and clap our hands, that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to just have the same interaction as anyone that's sighted. No special tool, no special way that.
The one I hate the most? I was on one the other day. The ones that constantly refresh every 5 seconds.
Oh, yes.
Man, you cannot do nothing with that website.
Mm-mm.
I mean, every time you move the cursor trying to get to where you're going, and before you can get there, the page refreshes and moves the cursor somewhere else.
Or towards it to the top of the page, yeah.
Something, yeah. So, but there's
or you have a bunch of buttons.
That's common there. Common is, the unlabeled buttons, unlabeled links, and non-descriptive graphics. Those are your three main issues that we run into with most websites. That and how can I say just navigational things. You click on a link, it'll move your cursor to the top. Okay, well now I got to go all the way back down the page to try to find the information for the link that I just clicked on.
If it has, have you seen those, Mr. Davis, that it says link. You're like,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Unlabeled links.
Yeah, they had like 4 links in a row. I'm like, So what Mr. Davis says, for those who are watching, if you have the opportunity to develop a website, make it accessible. It's not that really that hard. I mean, there's APIs, there's all these tools, whatever. Just make it accessible because at the end of the day, that's the law. That's the law. It's set aside customer service, right? But it is the law, no matter what. So I think we're coming to the end of the time, though, Mr. Davis.
Yes, we are coming to the end of the timeline.
And I'm sorry. Every time I get on, we don't play any articles, folks. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So-
wait. Before we start, Nancy made another comment. She said that most homework and things are done on the computer, so it's taking away from kids learning how to write and do cursive and things like that.
Oh, that's true. You're right. That's right.
I mean, if you think about it that way, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for that, Nancy, because you just basically triggered it in our head. Everybody's going to doing stuff on keyboards. Ain't nobody writing letters no more. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I mean, who even really uses snail mail other than businesses?
No, you're right, Mr. Davis. You're right. Even transferring money. Remember back in the day, Mr. Davis, can I borrow $10? You send it to the mail, a check. Now there's Cash App. There's So you're right. Who uses snail mail? Even to write a letter.
Well, now you can get it. Now you can get it in 5 minutes instead of 5 days.
No kidding.
It might be longer than 5 days because once you get it, now you got to take it to the bank or the check cashing place to cash it.
Mr. Davis, we know that Dunkin' Donuts fundraiser.
Yeah.
They mailed supposedly there's going to process a check for the fundraiser on the 18th of June. We still haven't got it.
Oh wow.
It's coming through mail, so snail mail.
Oh well,
Real quick, let me tell you a story. So when I was at the post office through the BT program here in Texas, in El Paso, did you know in the early parts of the 2000s, this is how stupid things could be. So if I was to mail something from here, El Paso, to Juarez, which is 4 miles away from where I'm at right now, for example, right? It would go from El Paso to Dallas, from Dallas to Mexico City, then to Juarez. Really? Seriously? I mean, come on, man. I mean,
well, that's what the average of about at least 2,000-3,000 miles
for a letter going 4 miles. Wow.
Folks, we still got a lot of stuff we need to fix on the planet here. A lot of things that don't make no sense. So, but anyway,
talking about making no sense. Why doesn't toilet paper have instructions?
Because only stupid people don't know how to use it.
It's pretty self-explanatory, I guess.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, hopefully you know what to do with it. If not.
No, I'm saying that on purpose because my cousin Nancy is watching it, and I always sometimes ask her that. She's a teacher, so she's probably laughing right now. But anyway.
Okay. Well, George, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us today. It's always fun when you're here with us.
Welcome, man. Thank you for inviting me. For Miss Britt, like I said, how you doing? How the cannoli? We'll see everybody tomorrow, I guess.
All right, see everybody tomorrow.
Well, if you're going to be here tomorrow, I appreciate it as well. We always love having you. I know Pedro will be back with us tomorrow, he said. And then just a little quick update. We got some business we have to take care of on Friday, some planning stuff for an upcoming event that we're doing in October, but we're planning it now. We've got meetings going on right now. So bottom line, we won't be here Friday. So maybe we make sure George come in tomorrow. We'll make sure we have a really, really, really good show to hold you through the weekend. How about that? So
there you go. We have TGIF tomorrow, even though it's Thursday.
Yeah. Thank God it's. Oh, okay. So we just do TGIT.
There you go.
We're sure happy it's Thursday.
Yeah.
There you go. For Friday, yeah.
All right. Everybody, we appreciate you. Please come in and join us again tomorrow. As always, Blind United, we do what we do. We're just trying to build bridges, close gaps, and make connections. So
Amen.
see you guys on the next one.